Hey guys, welcome back to Planet Tyro. I'm your host Donald Wonder. It's time for another change of pace. I know I'm going to be talking more about graphic novels and stuff, and this one was interesting because you've seen the title. You know I'm going to talk about The Legend of Zelda. The Legend of Zelda is a video game series, one of the most popular video game series of all time. It's a video game series I've loved. Certain titles, I'll put myself out there. I've always been more of a fan of the 2D Zeldas, the SNES ones, the Game Boy ones, the Game Boy Advance ones. I love Ocarina of Time, but the one I'm talking about today, the one we're going to talk about the manga of, is A Link to the Past. A Link to the Past was the third Zelda game. It was on Super Nintendo. My brother gave it to me when I watched my brother play it when he was young, and it just blew my mind. And the manga we're going to talk about in a minute, it was published in Nintendo Magazine, Nintendo Power Magazine, which recently closed. That's news as well. And it went out of print. You couldn't find it. And they just re-released this manga about a month ago. So when I saw my favorite game had a manga adaptation that they're going to re-release, so I wanted to see what this was about because I never read it. And now let's talk about it with you guys.
Tyro Media.
The Link to the Past manga. Guys, I don't know what to say. The Link to the Past is a game. Oh man, that Final Fantasy VII, Secret of Mana. I think that Link to the Past is one of my favorite. I think it is my favorite game of all time. When I was growing up, I was always a person that's fighting games like action games, Streets of Rage, Street Fighter. But when I saw Zelda as an 8-year-old boy, my brother playing it and the adventure, I got so engrossed with this silent character who's taking on this world of monsters and wizards and picking up rubies and swimming, and it was just such a great adventure. The music, the puzzles, and as I grew up playing this game on and on, it helped my mind expand. I'm one of those guys that actually believes games can actually help your intelligence, especially a puzzle game like Zelda. And as the years went on, I just played it again and again and again and again, and the music, it still holds to this day, and I loved it. So when I heard that there was a manga adaptation, which I never really knew about, to be honest with you, I was actually surprised when I heard that Nintendo made a manga, an adaptation of a game. It's not unique. I just didn't know that this was Zelda. So like I said, I heard it was just coming out, reprint, and I bought it. Speaking about the manga was illustrated by a very popular mangaka. I can't remember his name, I'll put it on screen now. But he did Cyborg 009, Hotel, and another very popular manga. And the illustrations, I'm going to be honest, it's a little bit, even for 25 years plus old manga, I've seen manga that it looks very loose. The lines aren't very straight, they're very defined. It's still very colourful, very playful. I know it's meant to be I don't want to say a children's manga, but it's meant to be a fun young adult manga. But I feel that the illustration was kind of and especially with even the text where he wrote it, it feels a little bit not sloppy, but just chicken scratchy, like just freehand, which it obviously was drawn by hand at the time. And the story is very different from the game. This is a loose adaptation of the game, so if you're like me and you played the game no, you get something different. It's not just a game in manga form, which is actually a relief. And my biggest praise to the story is the story has a lot of character. Link is known for being a blank slate hero. He's a hero that doesn't speak. You just take over him and fight these monsters. But in this manga, he has a personality. You find out about his parents. And there's a side character that also wants to be a hero as well. Princess Zelda is actually active for 1992. That's actually, maybe now that's not so weird, but back then, there's a big spoiler I want to give, I'm not going to give. She's actually more active than I thought. On the whole, this is a book that has a lot of character, especially for a game that's very self-insert, and I enjoyed the manga. But I have to be fair and say, if this was a manga on the shelf, it's very typical in terms of adventure. It doesn't really stand out, and if you're not a fan of the game, considering the illustration's not that good and the story's kind of basic, it's kind of mediocre. I've got to be honest. But if you're a fan of Zelda, especially this game, A Link to the Past, I think you'll really enjoy this because I think this is awesome, and seeing it in a nice big print. I'm going to hand this down to my nephew because I think he's going to like it as like a colour, fun looking book. But like even in terms of other manga I've seen at the time, it's kind of just meh, to be blunt. But another thing is, I never even knew, through my research I just found out that every Zelda game actually has a manga counterpart as well. So that was very interesting, and the ending to this book is kind of, it's not weird or anything, but from the ending of the game to this feels very, very, I don't know, a bit blunt. But I wish I could spoil it, but I'm not going to. But it ends, don't get me wrong, it's not ambiguous or anything, but it just, from playing the game, this is kind of like, okay, that's kind of weird. But on a whole, I'm going to rate the manga now. The Legend of Zelda manga version, I'm going to give it, if you're a fan, a solid B. If you're not a fan of Zelda and you just come straight off, it's just okay. It's very mediocre. Kids will like it on that age. But if you're a Zelda fan, especially fans of Link to the Past, check it out. Lastly, I have to say, because I'm a fan of this particular game, Nintendo did make a sequel to this game 25 years later called The Link Between Worlds, which I got my 3DS for. This game was phenomenal. Talk about a phenomenal sequel. My God, I love this game. The only problem with it was because I played the original one so much and it's so similar to the original, I found it pretty easy. On top of that, they didn't even have a very good bonus mode or a reason to replay it, which I'm very disappointed to as a criticism on the game. But the game is fantastic. It's an amazing sequel. I would love to see more 2D Zelda games. I love them to death. All the Game Boy ones. The 3D ones, it's not like I have anything against them. I loved Ocarina of Time. But all the other ones, I don't know. I kind of lost my taste of it. I wouldn't mind watching my brother or a friend play them. But for me, 2D Zelda fan till the death. Fanboy here. So anyway, guys, if you read the Zelda manga, if you even know anything about Zelda or any thoughts or any questions, leave a comment down below. I'm interested to hear that, guys. And this was a nice change of pace for me and you. I hope so anyway. So guys, thanks for watching. If this is your first time playing Tyro, welcome to the channel. Hit that subscribe button so you can get the videos straight to your YouTube feed directly. And as I always say, man, we're always welcome to hear your thoughts. Don't forget to leave a comment. That's very, very important. Hit those annotations on the screen. So we do other reviews on all types of media, animation, books, TV shows, what have you. And until then, guys, I want to say have a nice day and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.